Yo, how do you change yourself without feeling like you're faking it? How do you start to change your behaviors from something that you feel like is congruent to who you are into behaviors where you feel like you're not that type of person? Well, first we have to start examining at what our sense of identity is. So, at the most basic level, it's what we think. Then if you expand, there's actually a type of diagram you can look at for this. You can easily search it up online. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it basically starts in this small circle and then it goes out with wider circles where it labels each portion of the circle. So outside of what you think of yourself, a large part of your identity is composed of what your family thinks of you and what your friends think of you. So when you think about it, our identity is largely enforced and reinforced by the people around us because that's a big part of why it's difficult to change sometimes. Sometimes the people around you can be holding you back. They'll say things like, whoa, that's unlike you, or whoa, that's unusual for you to do that when you start to do some habits that are beneficial to you. And yeah, it's unfortunate if people are negative about what you do. But it is what it is. You can't control them, so just ignore it. Then around your family and friends is also like what your culture says that you should be like, and what your it's kind of depending on your on your area, your socioeconomic status, your country, continent, things like that. So a large part of your identity is what you think of yourself, and all those other factors mentioned. And then in addition to that, there's also the actions that you have taken in the past that now form and construct your memory because you remember what happened when you did X, you had the resultant outcome of Y, and then if you reinforce that behavior X, you did X many times, and you had the outcome Y many times, then um, you're gonna basically reinforce that you're the type of person who does X and receives the outcome Y many times. And our brain likes to do these shortcuts because our brain is made up of a very simple well, I guess yeah, it is simple actually. It's a simple network of what's called neurons, right? I'm sure you know how it works. So basically they're just connecting to other neurons and they're kind of like the computer digits 1 and 0. So this like on or off, right? And then neurons that fire together, wire together. So that's why those behaviors that you previously did in the past, you'll be led to repeat them by your instincts. And it's hard to go against your instincts. It's not the path of least resistance, it's the path of friction. So you have an accumulation of experiences that are composed of the outcomes of the actions that you have done in the past. And then you want to stop feeling like your actions are not congruent, or sorry, you want not to feel like your new actions are incongruent with your identity. Well, the trick to not feeling the way that you are trying to avoid feeling is that you have to think of your identity as something deeper than just those actions that you have. As we've already broken down, your identity is largely composed of what you think, what others think, etc., etc. But it's mostly, when you put it that way, it's mostly in your own head, really, and in the heads of people around you. But you can change your own identity by doing things like changing your beliefs and changing the types of actions that you take. Because if you were the type of person who did X behavior all the time in the past, and then you start to do Z behavior. At first, of course, it's going to feel unnatural because you think of yourself as the type of person who does X behavior. But then once you start doing Z behavior one time, yeah, it feels fake. Two times, yeah, it feels fake. Then when you do it 100 times, then it doesn't feel so fake anymore, does it? Because now you're the type of person who's been doing action Z regularly. And you have to realize that your identity can change, and it's basically almost completely up to you. It's under your control. And a lot of it is how you think about yourself. Do you think of yourself as a static object, as a static entity that cannot change? Or do you think of yourself as somebody that can change? And I'll tell you right now, if you think of yourself as somebody who cannot change, then you are greatly limiting yourself, and you are deluding yourself as well, actually. Because it goes without saying that if you practice basketball, shooting hoops for 1 hour every day, you're gonna get a lot better at shooting hoops compared to if you never practiced, or compared to anybody who never practiced. So you're always gonna, I think at the end of the day, there's always gonna be some feeling of, maybe not even actually, maybe if you realize that your identity will change, then you won't feel like you're faking your identity, because your identity isn't composed of your past solely. It's also what you're doing right now and what you will become in the future. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind when you're trying to incorporate new behaviors into your lifestyle. And I think that that advice will help you feel like you're not faking a new identity or faking behaviors as you try to change your behaviors into something better. If you enjoyed the video, guys, and found value in it, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm out. Bye bye.